She did earn her degree. She went directly to the pharmacy. She had a crowbar. She associated with the people on hand, and she walked out with her degree. So the reason my favorite weapon is a hunting knife is when you are killing the ridiculous number of zombie pops that we're dealing with here, you just have to deal with the fact that stamina is going to be a constant problem. So the good news about the hunting knife is it uses so little stamina that you can just keep fighting and fighting and fighting and pretty much never have to worry about stamina. Like, sleep is your problem there. As far as where the base is, I can show you. So, if you look at the map, Riverside, Rosewood, Midridge, Muldrow, West Point. Now, if you go kind of in the middle, right between Rosewood and Riverside, you'll see a little city, Ekron. And my main base is on the far north end of Ekron. There's a little gas station here, and I'm like right between the gas station of that. Oh, I turned the square map on because you turn to this, and then you try to explain to someone what north is. You're like, north is this way. And they're like, oh no. And then west is this way. And they're like, please, just stop it. Whereas this is like, north is up. Just north is up. Because I've had several people who were like, well, north is this way. I'm like, no, it's north is this way. Yeah, there has been a lot of debate of the name of this town. And the reason, like, originally I was calling it Dixie as well. But if we go over here, I think this is it. So I believe it's this trailer park over here. Literally has a sign that's like, Dixie Trailer Park. But yeah, this town officially does not have a name. So people have been naming it all sorts of stuff. But I'm like, if this is Dixie, then this place that has a sign that says it's Dixie cannot also be Dixie. Because I refuse to allow two places on the map to share the same name. And it says like, oh no, that's Ekron. I'm like, excellent. El Gosoberg? Hey, you can do that. You roll in, you kick out the current residents and say, this is the name of the town now. If you don't like it, take it up with management. Oh, how is our weapon situation? We got 6 hunting knives, 5 nightsticks, and a whole lot of bumpkus. That's plenty. Yeah, Bacon Android, I've had people say that as well. They're like, oh, well, this is north. I'm like, no, north is over here. Yep, I can fish in the pond. And I actually have fished in the pond. Unfortunately, right now we're in the winter, and during the winter, the fish you catch, like, it is severely penalized. So my character sucks at fishing, which means I stand there poking the water with a spear going, I'm really hungry. I hope I don't starve to death while I'm poking this water. Yeah, I heard that, but my understanding from where they got the name Lick Skillet was, and because I don't believe it was the dev team or anything who came out with the name, it was someone who, I guess, lives or lived in that area. From my understanding, they went, it's got these kinds of buildings, it's got this kind of information, it's vaguely in this area, it's Lick Skillet. I'm like, okay, but like, none of the cities are direct models off of the cities they... Was that zombies? That was. Sir, we have declared this town clear of all zombie life. Which means you're not supposed to be here. Like, that's just not a thing. I'm not going to say what that looked like I did to that poor zombie there. It was definitely, gave her a push. My wife's like, did you teabag the zombie? It's like, no, my character more just like pushed her by her butt cheeks. It's one of those ones like, whoa, whoa, look, I was just trying to get you away, like, it's not, I'm just, okay. We'll pretend this never happened. Yeah, everyone's already named it Ekron, so, like, even if someone's like, I have tangible proof, unless they go in, like, if the dev team were to go to, say, like, the bookstore, the police department, be like, you know, it is, Lick Skillet Police Department, then be like, alright, fine, it is Lick Skillet, but, like, unless they put a name to them, but... From a Mies to Emaciated challenge, I mean, that's easy, eat salad. Congratulations. You'll get there. It'll just take time. Yeah, so you'll generally find most of the times when I'm returning to my home, I don't take the time to clear out the zombies, but when we're going out, we do. And the idea is the more we clear... Hey, zombie I didn't know was there. Sneaky, tree zombie. Trees are betrayers. Don't trust trees. Yep, so you see that zombie stayed down the whole time? That's because the other zombie was standing on top of them. How are your boots? I haven't switched my boots in a while. I didn't need to, but that's fine. Oh, I am totally down to stomp some zombies. It's just, when I have weapons, I'd rather just keep using the weapons, because the more damage I do with the weapons, the more XP I get in that weapon type. So, I just want to keep gaining XP. But like you'll see, like, especially the ones I will tend to do the stomping on is if you see a crawler, there's a good chance if I have a weapon like a hunting knife on me, I will stomp them. But all that. Yeah. Yeah, it's always a mixed thing, because it's like, I really want the XP on my weapons, especially so I can get the maintenance skill, but I also down to my last weapon, so I really do want to save this weapon. Do I stomp them or not? And I do go back and forth in that, like, while I'm playing. You'll see me switch back and forth, being like, no, I think I stomped this one. I was like, no, I want that extra XP, though. To give you an idea how much I had to deal with no weapons on this character in the early game because of those, you know, the ridiculous zombie pops, we were at over 500 kills, and our favorite weapon was bare hands. So, many zombies got stomped. many zombies got stomped. I don't think it was until we got like a crowbar or two that it finally switched off of bare hands. And that's because this game was being super frugal in the early game on its weapons. Like, we're gonna point, it's like, kitchen knife, hog. I think in one of my cabinets I have like 30-something kitchen knives. Oh yeah, because you're like, okay, I got the crowbar, I know I'm at least going to, like, by the time this thing breaks, I'm gonna have at least like 2 or 3 hunting knives, maybe a nightstick, maybe I get a hand axe, like a couple of other weapons. So you get to keep it, and it'll cash you in a couple other weapons, so it just gives you that much time before weapons become a problem again. Oh, also for people new to the game, when you look at radios, here I'll pull up this, you'll find that some radios will have the automated emergency channel. The frequency to that changes every single time you make a new world. It's well worth getting that frequency. What that frequency will do is it'll give you a bit of a heads up before the power goes out. Like, if you catch it at the earliest, it'll be up to 2 days. It'll say, hey, the power's going to be dropping. And that switches messages like, no, seriously, you got 1 day left. Like, he'll say, like, there's a fluctuation, or there's, like, a, you know, critical problem, and then it'll say blackout when the power is out. It'll tell you weather for the next 2 days, especially useful for stuff like knowing what's going to be very foggy. When you're going to have, like, a tropical storm, it'll warn you, like, stuff like that, like, really eventful weather it'll warn you about. But it also, if you have helicopter, like if you haven't seen it yet, it will let you know saying, hey, air activity detected, something like 12 hours in advance. So you can go, oh, maybe I shouldn't be in the middle of this super high population area. The helicopter's about to come. Let's turn around and go to like this open field and wait for the helicopter to show up and, you know, deal with it someplace safe. Or, you know, as safe as you can be for dealing with the helicopter. It's especially useful for like where I'm running where I have more than one helicopter show up. Like that will save my life many times over, because like if I'm in the middle of downtown Riverside and the helicopter comes flying overhead, I'm going to be going, oh, expletive, and just trying to get to my car and drive away. And generally there's two mindsets of how you deal with the helicopter. And it can be situational, which one like I'll even do. Sometimes you can just stay in your house, lay low, stay away from windows, wait it out. The pro and the con with that is if you just chill while the helicopter's flying around, it will draw a bunch of zombies to your area, but it may not draw them to you directly. Like they'll just wander around and might bump into your house, break a couple windows. The thing that's the issue is if they do come into the room that, like, go towards the room that you're in, they start banging on the door, suddenly you have a whole bunch of zombies that really want in your room, and you probably are not getting out of said room. Now, the other strategy is to, quote-unquote, go for a walk. And that could be in a car or whatever. The idea is you go for a walk. You just go, I don't want to be here. Let's go walk someplace else. And just let the zombies, you know, follow you around. When the helicopter's gone, you find a different route and you walk home. And you pretend it never happened. But yeah. To the comment earlier where I said, you know, slow down. A really useful piece of information is you walk faster than the zombies do. Unless you have sprinters on, or you have something direly wrong, like you're excessively encumbered or super duper tired or something, you walk faster than them. If you look and say, oh, that's 50 zombies, I want no part of this, you just turn around. No need to run, just walk away. Yeah, the brakes on this car are going. It used to stop so much better. It's not as bad as that van we had. That van where you'd start pushing on the brakes and you'd just be like, I really hope I don't slam into things, you know, 50 miles down the road. Not 50 miles, like 50 yards. Like we hit so many zombies. Luckily, I think we only ended up killing one zombie by vehicle collision in that van, just because you'd see the zombies, you'd try and stop, and there's just no stopping. You can repair the car. I'll actually show you in a moment. I will warn you that the car mechanics are a little bit involved. It's fairly straightforward. It's just, there's a lot to it. So if I walk up to this car, and you can see where this is the radio station I was talking about. And you go to the hood and push E. You start doing maintenance. So I can sit there and go, oh, my front window is crap. I can uninstall my front window, find a front window that's in better shape, and put it in. Wait, was that today's weather? Very thick fog? Is that today? Because I don't want to drive around in very thick fog. Okay, so tomorrow's weather is very thick fog. Alright, new plan. We are not going to this place tomorrow, because very thick fog can kindly show itself the door, and I want no part of it. So, I'm going to do a little bit of skill training until the very thick fog passes. Oh, come on, stop. That said, I'm down to kill the zombies on the way home. The very thick fog is until tomorrow. Probably not going to work on carpentry. Our base is in pretty good shape. We have carpentry 10. Meh. Don't really need to do it. I could work on my auto mechanic because I do want to start repairing my vehicles because they're all getting pretty roughed up, if I'm being honest. I would say metalworking, but I still don't have a welding mask. The good news is where we are trying to clear to, which is the warehouse, almost always has a welding mask for us, so that should resolve that problem. But yeah, the problem is, and you'll see it the next day in game, so once we start having that fog show up, it's impossible to see your way around. Driving in very thick fog is a good way to just ruin a car. But that is why the automated broadcast system is so useful. Because like I said, I would have gone out there completely unaware that we're going to have very thick fog out there, woken up the next morning going, okay, it's time to go kill some zombies, and going, oh, I can't see the zombies well. And it would have been a whole thing. And leaving with my wheels would have been a whole thing. Versus now, I'm aware that I'm going to have crap weather tomorrow. So I can plan accordingly. Yep, so that's another example of why it's good to have the outline. I actually shouldn't have gone out there. If I'd been a little slower getting out, there's a good chance the zombie would have grabbed me as I opened my door. Luckily it wasn't a problem because we were enough ahead, but those are the kind of things where you're like, alright, I should move ahead a little bit, then get out. Headlights during the day. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of work on our mechanic skill, because I think that's the only skill I have that I can really do any meaningful training on it right now. At some point I should, like, wall off an area that I can park the cars where I'm safe to do mechanic without, like, where I can just fast forward through without having to worry about zombie rolling up on us. But I've been trying not to invest way too much in base building time. Like, I've already put a ton in. Just because, you know, taking the time to do all of the base building kind of things, just... I need, like, my goal is to kill the zombies. The base building is just an ends to a means. But it is what we do when the weather's crap, is we do stuff like base building, work on skills. I haven't been doing working out too much. Granted, now actually wouldn't be a bad day to do some workout, because we'd wake up the next day, it'd be foggy, and we just live with it. But I haven't really been doing hardly any working out. So where we actually have a bunch of fitness and stuff is just from fighting zombies. Oh, another thing I guess I should say is, if you look at my skills, I'm going to shift this over here so I can see where I'm driving. Like, the build I do, I call 0 to hero, which is basically we go with weak, obese, and unfit. So when we start, I have 0 strength, 0 fitness, 0 skills, 0 weapon skills. Like, there's nothing here. So every point you see there has been a point we have trained. So yeah. So we've done almost no fitness whatsoever, and we're getting pretty good here. So that just goes to show you, if you're having a long run, you will get those eventually. That said, I would not recommend this build. It is not a good build. It's objectively a bad build. It's not objectively bad because, you know, it's not beginner friendly. It's not beginner friendly. It's also not advanced player friendly. It's just not a good build. But I just like the whole 0 to hero play style. You start, you basically can't barely hurt anything. You get exhausted in no time at all. But it's really nice as you start to level up and get stronger, like, oh yeah, now we can actually do stuff. I'll also mention to new players that the nimble skill is low-key one of your best tools for surviving. Nimble is when you have your weapon like ready to hit something, it's how fast you move. And as it gets higher, you can get away with some nonsense you shouldn't be able to get away with, where like you'll swing, you'll miss the zombie, but be able to just back away fast and it can grab you. Yeah, Mr. Lampo, you're not wrong. Like, if you're going for the min-max, there's certainly that argument there. 100%. That's actually what got me into it as well. Yeah, Nimble is absolutely horrendously slow to train. But, it's just you have to survive to get to the point where it starts being good. And a lot of times it's just like, okay, well, or you could just get a good amount of fitness and strength. Because, that's been a whole thing, is like, you have to survive to the point it gets the meaning. And even then, like, getting to, like, strength and fitness 9 and 10 is a slog. But yeah, if you live forever, I mean, cool. And tower. So when you're talking about exercise regularity, it's not a multiplier on the amount of fitness you gain. What it is a reduction on how long you are penalized the day after. So when you exercise, I think it's like 12 hours later or whatever time it is later, your character will be like, I am in pain, I am unhappy, I am in agony. And it will severely penalize your ability to fight and run and stuff like that. So regularity will reduce how long that penalty lasts. So it is good if you're going to exercise to get regularity up. Okay, so actually I shouldn't park here, because we're going to be doing some mechanic stuff. Do I want to actually exercise? Does my regularity stay? This is one of those things. We've spent a long time since we've done our burpees. Okay, so regularity takes a long time to go away. Interesting. Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, I probably should exercise, but I am trying. You know what I'll do? We're going to work on these cars real fast. Try to get our, like, either we'll get them, you know, get our skill point to the point we need to read a book, or, if that doesn't happen, we'll go till we've done all the parts in the car. But we haven't done these in the last day. Oh, I don't have the tools on me. Right. Yeah, so it's like, you can't do anything. I just do the burpees. Like, the point I would probably switch from the burpees is if, like, I got my fitness or my strength maxed, at which point I'd be like, okay, well, the burpees, like, I no longer need both these stats, so I will switch to whatever stat is appropriate. But that's never been a problem for me, so that is what it is. But yeah, and so I am using a mod at the moment called Auto Mechanic. The normal way you would do this is I would go right-click on driver's seat, uninstall, wait for that bar, and I'd go, okay, you failed, and I go, okay, driver's seat, uninstall, and then you go across there, and it'd say you failed, and a driver's seat, and an uninstall, and then it would fail. And so it's very, very tedious and a lot of clicks. So all Auto Mechanic does is it does the clicks for me, where it'll keep trying to uninstall the thing till it succeeds, then it'll reinstall it, and I'll move on to the next part. So it's just saving me the clicks. It's not giving me any advantage, it's just protecting my fingies. But yeah, so this is how you how you do the mechanical training is you just basically take out parts out of cars and put them in. Kind of the rule that works is every time you fail to remove a part, you gain XP. Every time you successfully install a part in that vehicle for the first time per day, you get XP. What that means is if I take this driver's seat out successfully and I reinstall it, I get XP. If I take it out and put it back in again successfully, I don't get XP. However, if after I've installed it, I try and take it out a third time and I damage it, like I fail it, I gain XP. So it's weird. But generally what it means is go around the car, do all the parts once, and that's probably the XP you're going to get for the day. Barring, going to parts you know you're not going to have a chance of installing and just destroying them trying to do that. Yeah, now the one thing like where people were talking about like disadvantage and advantage mods, the one I would give people is minimal display bars does give me an advantage in the sense that I get a warning before I hit exertion. And that's fair. But the way I look at it is if I do this challenge and I'm like the first one to wipe out all these cities or whatever on these pop or whatever, and I can go, great, if you want to do better than me, by all means, do it faster, kill more of the zombies that count, because I have accidentally killed a few zombies by means that don't count by just them being in the road and hitting them with a car. Do it with less mods? Sure. I would be down to watch someone just immediately go, yeah, I'm going to try and beat your numbers. Cool, do it. I don't think I will, like, if I finish this challenge, I don't think I will repeat it because the time investment is very, very significant. But yeah, that's like, whenever you have someone's like, oh, but you did this thing that makes it easier, like, great, do better. And, like, I will be down. If you do better, like, I will recognize and say, hey, you did it without the mods I had. Great. Good job. Like, you did it slightly harder than I did it. Cool. And then someone can do better than they did. And then there'll be someone's like, well, I made a mod that doubles the zombie pop. And all of us will be like, but why? I mean, cool, but why? Why would you do this? So, we have numbers of the total zombie pop from before multiplayer. And when we did the 16 times that amount that you would start with base, we came up with around 900,000 zombies. Now, unfortunately, that's before the multiplayer update and all the other stuff, so who knows? But, hypothetically speaking, we're talking somewhere in the ballpark of 900,000. I would guess if that number is wrong, it's probably too low because of Louisville becoming, a thing. Thank you for the follow, Laura Rose. Welcome to the stream. So the current guess we have is we're just sticking with the previous math of the 900,000. We accept and know that it is probably not accurate, but until someone sits there and does the calculation to figure out how many zombies are on the map, we don't have the necessary information to get a more accurate measurement. Oh yeah, and I have let people know the plan of how I'm intending on going around the map is I started Ekron. Ekron is cleared at this point. We've declared it cleared. Like we still have a pack or two that shows up from time to time because they'll wander in from the forest as med events and that happen. But we actually have a really really roughed up police truck with sirens that periodically I'll go into the middle of town, turn on the sirens, see what shakes out, kill it all. We have wiped out the country club. We're heading towards the warehouse. But our next actual stop that we're planning and targeting is Riverside. And then after Riverside, I'm going to go down the west side of the map and I'm going to target Rosewood. After Rosewood, I'm going to go to Midridge. Or is it March Ridge? I can't remember. The one that's got one way in and has got too many zombies and no one goes there because it's a pretty underwhelming city. We'll go from there to Muldrow. We'll go from Muldrow to West Point, at which point my intention is on West Point's far east end, somewhere in that area, probably the gas station, I'm going to build our next, like, proper base. Because that'll be our staging place for hitting the mall, hitting all that stuff over there, because that's the higher population end of the map, and West Point is the bottleneck from the west to the east to west ends of the map. So I'll do that. Then we clear out the mall, we clear out the area around there, we clear out there's a school and like a little town up there, and we will push to the warehouse up there. A good chance at that point I will move to the warehouse as a staging ground. I'm not sure if I'll make like a full proper base, but I will do some base building at that warehouse. Yep, this car is a piece of junk on the side of the road that I'm training mechanic on because the weather sucks. I don't seem to have your... Oh, you mean the clock up here? Yeah, to get the clock, you have to find a watch. So when you're killing zombies and you find a watch, you put the watch on, and then you'll have the clock show up. But yeah, near the car is a wreck. Literally, we found them T-boned in the middle of the road, so the whole car was destroyed when we found it. And I'm just training our mechanic skill by taking out parts and putting them in, so that I can fix the cars I actually care about. And then dumping all the broken parts in the ground because, you know, this is why we can't have nice things. Yes, when you kill the zombies, they are always lootable. Now granted, you may not want what's on them in a lot of cases. Like, you'll have ones that are just wearing underwear and nothing else, you go, great. But, that's where a lot of your weapons will actually come from, is the zombies. You'll find ones that have, like, hunting knives stuck in them, or spears stuck in them, or a crowbar stuck in their back. If you're really lucky, you'll find one impaled with a katana. And you just loot the body, grab whatever weapon it is, and you're good to go. And I just realized I'm going to do something. Because Mr. Lamprey can't stop. So yeah, if you're all into Project Zomboid, don't forget that Mr. Lamprey also plays Project Zomboid, so it's worth dropping a follow. But yeah, figured, you know, hanging out, having a good time. Make sure we drop a shout out there. Okay, so this is, and I mentioned it earlier, this is actually a mod I have called Auto Mechanic. It doesn't give me any, like, advantages or anything. All it does is just, I can use right-click and train mechanic, and it will just go through doing the clicks for me, so I don't have to manually go through it all. Yep, oh. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, just like Laura Rose, I missed that question, Susanna. But, yeah, if you just have these loot up, I can actually show you in a moment. That might actually explain part of why you were having some difficulty is, yeah, there's also supposed to be one for auto tailor. That's the same deal as it'll keep putting on it and taking off patches, so the same idea. I haven't picked that one up yet, but I probably will. But yeah, if you have your loot windows up, you'll be able to see what's around. So like this stuff is on the ground. I can click and drag, put it in. But if I'm near a body, they'll show up there. I'll show you that in a second because the tabs can be a little weird. And I can also show you some shortcut keys and all that kind of stuff that'll save you some headaches, or time, I should say. I've done that. Oh, yesterday we who was it we raided yesterday? There was a person who was, you know, someone who was like very new to Project Zomboid, was playing with a friend or whatever, and just we raided this person. And like right after the raid went off, I got the notification on my OBS that a raid had come into my channel, like, but we were already gone. I was like, well, I hope they ended up in the other place because there's no one here. But It was also kind of cool when we went to the other channel because like the person was like, it's the one. It's the guy I was talking about. And I'm like, all right, apparently people are talking about me. He's like, yeah. You know, it's the one I linked their channel to you. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I've just randomly found some person's like, no, like you seriously, like this, like I watch your channel. It's like cool. I didn't know any of that. I was like, hey, there's this person who's got like in the teens to 20s numbers of followers, and we had something like 50 something followers. Like, yeah, you know what? Let's make their night. I like doing that. You know, Trustin did that for me, and that's what got me, you know, in the project, like with the numbers in the Project Zomboid and all that. So I try and pay it forward. All right, let's find a body. Oh, there's a body right here. That's convenient. Okay, so we have a body here. If you have your window open, you'll see it automatically tries to pull up whatever inventory's here. But a couple things that can be kind of useful. So you can just put your mouse over here and you can scroll. Simple enough. If I hold shift and scroll though, I'm switching between the different things here. So like this is looking at the ground, this is looking at the body. I can also use shift on here, or not shift, I'm sorry, scroll wheel, to switch between that as well. So that can be very helpful to know that you can do that. Because there's times you'll have like 10 bodies in the same place, and you're not going to want to go, okay. So you can just use that to help you go through. That's very useful. Or also like where we're right now on our backpacks. I have a bunch of backpacks. There's times you'll see me scroll through these. But those are some, you know, nice shortcuts that the game doesn't really surface to you in an easy way. It's kind of your trial and error or someone tells you. Do we have another wreck anywhere nearby I could tear apart? I don't think so. We're getting sleepy. I mean, the other thing you could potentially do is tomorrow go down and run the sirens. Drag out some things. Thank you. That is kind of... So the two things I try and have my channel do is the first one is to give people a chill place to hang out. You know, relax. Okay, I didn't want to climb the wall, but we're here now, so that's fine. Oh yeah, and this person scared me. We had like no zombies in the area. I opened the door and it was just chilling there. Never safe. So I try and give people a place to like relax, not stress out too much, that kind of stuff. Because I know like some people, they go for thought work, and by the time they get home from the end of the day, they're like super spent. They just want to vibe and get it out of their system. I don't expect to catch absolutely anything fishing. I'm just going to get like a negligible amount of fishing skill. Because unfortunately, during the winter, your ability to catch stuff is severely penalized. But if we go to sleep, we wake up in the middle of the night, and I don't like waking up in the middle of the night because night is dark and it's scary. And there's no night lights in the game. But yeah, so there's that aspect of it. And the other thing I try and do is, up until recently, because I am now on sabbatical, I actually need to update my about information. That's fine. I author interactive content to teach software development. So I actually do like teaching. I am a helpful person. I may force people to try and figure things out as well. Like there's a certain amount of hand holding you do, and there's a certain amount it's like, all right, I've given you the information. You know what to do. Go forth. Do. And if you got questions and concerns, we are fishing too long. Questions and concerns, you know, reach out and we'll reevaluate. We are now up to 9 katanas on our bed. I mean, to my credit, I checked in advance to everyone. I was like, do you have the maps up? And like everyone should have had this one revealed. And it's like, okay, we're up here, go south. But what are you even having going on with your keyboard near it? For the record, Moonwitch and Nirda are two people that yesterday when we were playing multiplayer together, they were two of the well, they were the two there. Like normally Jet would also be there, but they were two there. But yeah, so we were up in Riverside, and I was like, okay, like this is where we're going. You have the map to see that. Go south. They didn't have any of this middle part, but there was no way I was going to be able to explain that like in a way that wouldn't be difficult. Yeah, I think one of the things that help is by default your maps turn like that. And that's very confusing when someone says south, because south is over here. But if you turn it like that, south is down. Awesome, Susanna. That is much better. You said at first you were struggling to do, like, any time at all. And I will tell you, when you first start the game, like, fighting one zombie will kill you. And I feel no regret in saying, when I first started the game, and I did start, I believe, on Apocalypse difficulty. I can't promise that because it's been so long, because the game's been out forever. But, I died dozens of times.